Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library. Bobble Part 2. Finally, something to answer all the questions from Part 1. Bobble is one of the most beloved and recognizable arcade and NES games ever made. The adorable adventures of Bub and Bob delighted players with a fun art style, simple gameplay, and rather unique for arcade games, multiple endings. Taito's game was so popular that it got ported to everything, and I mean everything. 30 different systems, from the NES to the FM Towns, whatever that is. So of course there was a Bobble Part 2. That only appeared for the NES and Game Boy. Yeah, kinda weird that a game that hit every system would get such a downgrade for Part 2, not to mention the two games were developed by completely different companies. We got the lucky draw this time, as the Game Boy version was developed in-house by Taito, so for once the Game Boy is getting the legit version, while the NES takes the scraps. Then again, it is Bobble. I just can't imagine they would mess with the formula too much. I mean, even the cover is the perfect embodiment of Bobble. Bub is front and center, shooting bubbles out, surrounded by insane monsters who want to hurt him. Although I think something already got that guy back there. Ouch. Well, can Part 2 live up to the expectations of the original? Let's pop this mystery with Bobble Part 2. Taito. That's actually how the logo is pronounced. Bobble Part 2. There they are. Bub and Bob and weird robot friend. Well, there's literally nothing else to do. I don't have any passwords. Let's go. Our village friend's been captured by the evil king, Great Skull. Robbie? Who's Robbie? What is going on down here? What is that? Why lock? I believe that's the plot of Lost. Seriously, what's going on? Whatever. Well, it's Bobble. Oh, so I'm really not an expert on the original Bobble. Could you charge up a bubble in the original one? I don't remember that at all. And now we should be heading to the bottom left corner of the screen and going to the next stage. Any minute now. There we go. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to say already. It's Bobble. Just more of it. But who's Robbie? So I guess we just gotta look at stuff like stage variety and how it plays. The controls are actually quite good. There isn't much lag, or any lag, really. There's an N. I wonder what happens when I spell whatever word is down there. Ah! That's kind of cool. I can use the, Bubble to transform myself. Again, was that in the original Bobble? The only game I really have played a lot of from the Bobble series is Parasol Stars, which is like a weird sequel to a sequel on the TurboGrafx. Great game, though. I should play that one. To me, stuff like this is, like, ideal for Game Boy. Game Boy had a lot of really deep and, crazy games, but it also had such a great lineup of just pick-up-and-play games. And this is perfect for picking up and playing. You just gotta keep track of your password. Here we go. How do I get my password? Where's my password? I really like the cute animation, too. Who's Robbie? And here's where I had to have done this. The enemies in this game are adorable. I'm fighting weird spring things. I'm pretty sure those are Pokemon. And if they're not, they will be. Gotcha. See, that's the only problem with this game. There's not much to talk about. Like, it's Bobble. It's a little more in-depth. It's one of those sequels where they don't really change the story or anything, but they just add a little bit. I mean, then again, it's Bobble. What could you really do to the story? Come on. It does gotta take a while to get to the next stage. I wonder what that word down there will spell. Oh, I got it. That was the boss, probably. I'll just pick up these frosted double butts. Sentence I did not expect to say today, but here we are. Wait a sec. Expand? Extend? What word is down there? Music is fairly standard, but pretty much what you'd expect from this kind of game. Well, it looks like we're trying to spell extend. For what reason, I don't know. Okay, I just gotta find out what happens when we spell extend. My curiosity has been sufficiently piqued. Giant bean! This kinda looks like a boss arena. Yep. Aww. FKQ4. Continue. This doesn't look like continuing. Oh, I lost all my letters. Like, I can imagine that this game would probably run better arcade style. You know, more color, more animation, everything. But for a Game Boy game, it's actually running extremely well. You know what? Hang on. This is driving me crazy. What does extend do? If you spell out the word extend, it extends your life bar by 1 heart. Oh. Not only that, you will also skip to the next level. Oh. Tremendous and exemplary. Well, one of life's great mysteries finally solved. Alright, I really want to fight the boss, so we're gonna get back there. How many lives do I have? 2. Arcade games like this are so satisfying when done right. I wonder how the NES version is, because this one's pretty great. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Boss! Fight me, coward! Oh, God. Ah! No! Okay, we got this. Aha! Bam! Boss defeated. Broccoli achieved. Well, I guess it can't be perfect, but hey, it's Bubble Bobble. Part 2. It's the Empire Strikes Back of Bubble Bobble, and I appreciate it for that. Okay, how am I supposed to write 3 paragraphs about this when it could be summed up in 3 words? Although technically not an arcade port, it might as well have been since it played pretty much the same as Bubble Bobble, and for that, it did a great job of keeping all the mechanics working, but keeping it running well for a Game Boy game. We've seen good and bad arcade ports on Game Boy Roulette, but since this one appeared to be built from the ground up by the original developer, it was about as good as you're gonna get. They also did enough to make it feel like this was more of an upgrade to justify it being part 2. The screen scrolling around was a nice touch, it made each level feel bigger than they were, and the new mechanic where you could fly around in your own bubble was a fun little addition. It had changed enough to feel fresh, while still maintaining that classic Bubble Bobble feel. But really, I don't need to talk about any of that. Like I said, this is really just a 3-word review. It's Bubble Bobble. That's really all you need to know to decide if you want to play it. Good work, Bub and Bob, another successful adventure under your belts. Who the hell is Robbie? And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to subscribe so you can follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm Brian J, and I'll see you next time.